Welcome back. Record low mortgage rates have led to a multi-year high in housing affordability, but low inventory and urban flight accelerated by the pandemic have made homeownership tough for many cash-strapped millennials. My next guest launched an Instagram account to showcase their love of historic preservation. Over the past few months, it's also become a tool for people to land their dream homes cheaply. For more, let's welcome in the founders of Cheap Old Houses, Elizabeth and Ethan Finkelstein. It's great to have you both here. Welcome.
Thanks, Kelly, for having us on and talking about millennials buying cheap old houses all across the country and saving, a house at a time.
Yes, I can't figure out what to make of this, Elizabeth, because on the one hand, I now follow you on Instagram and I think, this is amazing, these $23,000 beautiful old houses, and someone's going to come love them and restore them, and this is the best thing that's ever happened. And then other part of me goes, I couldn't even finish my vegetable garden this summer. Are people getting in way over their heads here?
Well, look, a lot of people get in way over their heads in debt, putting down a down payment on a house that they simply can't afford. And these are houses that allow you to buy something from the get-go with closing costs you can actually afford and then chip away at it over time. So in a sense, yes, these houses require work. Is it satisfying work? Absolutely.
How much, Ethan, how many houses have you guys sold, and what's the general demand like? How quickly do they go?
We've had some crazy stories, actually. I think we know about 40 people who've actually purchased these houses off the Instagram feed. And, what we'll do is we'll post them, and the realtor will get calls. We had one situation where there was dozens of people looking at the houses that weekend.
Hundreds.
Wow. And then one guy actually broke his car down, coming across the country, got a rental, and finally got there. It's kind of this wildfire.
And people are literally...
Go ahead.
Ending their lives and moving across the country to buy these. So it's like they're making huge life changes after, seeing these houses on Instagram.
And realizing that you can work from anywhere. I mean, the timing with the pandemic has made people realize you can work from anywhere. Sometimes you can school from anywhere. Elizabeth, I was going to mention, because Ethan said in passing, you guys aren't the realtors. You're not realtors, and you did your master's in historic preservation, so this is kind of a special cause for you. You grew up in an old house, I think it is. What would your advice be to somebody who buys one of these things? How much should they realistically expect to spend 2-3 times the purchase price?
It really depends on the house. Walk through it before you buy it with an inspector and get a sense of what you're looking at. But don't expect your house to look like an Instagram feed month one. Part of the love of working on these houses is learning how to do it using your hands. We sit in cubicles all day. We don't feel connected to ourselves and the places we live. So that's part of the love of it. And get yourself connected with a large community of people online that can help you and can support you. It's a very supportive community.
That is a good point.
Really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, you got to be in those Facebook groups to stick it out. Ethan, final question. Your business model is kind of, you guys have these subscription services people can sign up for. Are you able to make a living doing this?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest passion that we have is having these homes get in land into people's houses and just being able to buy them. I think we, as a couple, really, this was sort of happenstance. I mean, I think it's been our greatest joy to have newsletters and be able to support people's, getting into their homes, through these newsletters that you can subscribe. Elizabeth has cheap old abroad houses. You can do cheap old farmhouses, then you can do cheap-ish houses, which are houses under $250,000. So,
cheap old farmhouses is my favorite. The ones with acreage.
Yeah, mine too. Maybe someday cheap abroad houses when the pandemic is over. Thank you both very much. Best of luck, and help everybody finish these projects too. I mean, they're taking on a lot. Elizabeth and Ethan Finkelstein, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Go buy a cheap old house.
Cheap Old Houses on Instagram. That does it for The Exchange today. Coming up next hour, September is a notoriously slow month for the airlines, and carriers are setting their schedules. We're going to look at how the pandemic is going to make things even worse.